So let's get started. We will go right along with how the back starts. I can draw a horizontal line in the lower third of my paper. This is not like an exact line on everyone's page. It could be a little bit different. That horizontal line is going to represent your eye level. And depending on how big your building ends up being, it could be a little higher on the page, it could be a little lower. The biggest concern that it is horizontal. If you cannot eyeball this and need to measure up from the bottom of the page to make sure it's horizontal, that's okay to do. Okay? Moving on to the second, draw a vertical line near the center or maybe a little bit to the left side of your paper. If you guys want to take a quick look up here on the one that I've got in my hand, I've got this red line. That's actually the line we're going to put on. So it would be the front corner of the main part of the house. So again, right to left, it's not a huge deal where this line goes, but it needs to be vertical. It can be 4 to 5 inches long, could be 3 inches long. This is where each house is going to have a little bit different shape. The next steps would be step 3 if you're following the back of the rubric. We're going to add in our vanishing points. So we'll put a point on the left and on the right horizontal line. So the reason why we add these vanishing points, one here, and one here, that's where 90% of your lines are going to go to. You use that for your end point. Next, from your vertical line, which is the front corner of your house, you will draw back to the vanishing points. The left side will go to the left side vanishing point, and the right side will go to the right vanishing point. So if you have done this successfully at this point, you're going to have something that looks like a kite. Yes, sir. You can help. All right, moving on, guys. Again, if you're not keeping up, that's okay. We're gonna wrap this up once we get a roof on today, and I'll walk around and make sure everyone is understanding where we are. So now we need to box in. So we're at number 5. We need to box in the main part of our building. And this, again, could be your discretion where you want these lines to go. They need to be vertical. And you're going to end up with 2 boxes. These lines that I'm putting the X's on eventually will be erased. So I erased mine just so you can see it better, but really for your rough draft, you do not need to get rid of them. So looking at what we've drawn so far, does that look like it has some form? Yes? No? Yeah? Okay, so it appears to actually, that first line we put looks closer to the two other vertical lines we have on that page. And we have two boxes. Okay, our next step in the process is putting a peak off of one of the two sidewalls. Does it matter which sidewall would have a peak on a house, depending on which way you're looking at it? No, right? But just for the sake of this particular building, we're going to use this side. And we're going to want to put our peak in the middle of this wall. Can I just pick the spot that looks like the middle and say that's where the peak's going to go? It looks like it is? Probably not. Good answer. So we need to find out where the actual middle is, and we can do that only by drawing an X across the box, because the middle of the box is going to appear to be farther back, because as you get away from the closest spot, it's going to get smaller. So again, that X was established by going corner to corner. If your X does not intersect your eye level line, that's okay, because it just depends on how you drew your box. What's that? That X can be whatever you like. I did it all the way across. You can see I went from corner to corner. When you do this, you're not going to want to show that X on your wall, probably, right? If you just want to make a small mark, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, now we can actually draw our peak using that center point. Again, it's important that we draw a vertical line. If it's crooked at this point, it's going to make it look kind of funny. The height of your peak can vary. It's up to you. But your peak has to be tall enough that you actually see some roof. Because when you draw your shingles, if you don't have a high enough peak height, you won't see any roof, and then you can't draw any shingles. So far we've drawn a horizontal line that was for our eye level view, and it went to the vanishing points. And we drew vertical lines that are straight up and down, and the third type of lines have all went to our vanishing point, okay? So this is, the next two lines I'm going to draw are going to be ones that don't follow the rules of vanishing point. We're going to draw our roof peak to the corners of our house by going from the peak tip to the two corners. So that angle is 100% based off of how tall or how short your peak height is. So now we've made it to the 8th spot on the back on our directions page, and we need to put a roof line in. So where do you think we're gonna, from what point to what point is gonna be our roof? Okay, so the peak, this point here, to the vanishing point is gonna establish our roof. If you want to run that all the way down, that's fine. You're going to find that there's going to be lines that you know are going to be erased, and you will just won't draw them to keep your page neater. We doing okay, guys? Okay, next one. We need to have an angle on the right side of our roof, correct? Any idea of where we're going to come up with the angle for that? Yes? Grace, I don't want to pick on you, but you're my go-to answer person. What do you think? Okay, that's exactly right. You want to copy that angle. So everyone's angle right here is probably a little bit different. But whatever your angle is on the front of your house is going to be the same angle we're going to put on the back. Okay? So copy this angle. A good way to do it is basically lining your ruler up and sliding it straight over. So I'll line my ruler up to that angle, slide it over, and put a line in. So at this point, everyone should have just a quick standard structure, which I believe in 6th grade you drew something similar to this. We'll do that in about an hour. Okay, so the amount of talking I'm hearing, does that mean that we've got it all figured out? No.